Before we get into all the details of that, you guys liked some sound from Jalen Rose on this subject, Mike. I haven't heard that sound. What is the sound from Jalen Rose that you guys liked, and why did you like it?
I would argue that this is Jalen Rose's best moment on television. This is him being his most authentic self. I loved everything about the delivery, and it's using the platform to borrow from his life experience to try to advance his story a little bit more. It's not saying the same stuff the talking heads may be ill-equipped to say. This is someone that feels like there are some comparisons there, and I found it pretty insightful.
I am Ja Morant. I've been involved in drug raids. I've survived assassination attempts. I've been that undisciplined young person that was trying to figure out how to be famous, how to be successful, and how to change the dynamics of my family. What I had to learn is that people come into your life for 4 reasons: to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. You have to choose wisely. He has way too much to lose. Trust me, I've been that young player carrying a gun. When you start waving it, that could get you killed.
We have another clip as well to play for you from Jalen Rose as well.
Fame can be a drug. And I don't know what type of pain that he deals with and type of anxiety that he has, or what types of substances that he may be using. And I'm glad in this statement that he owned that I need to make changes for me. Because as the leader, as the breadwinner, you control the environment. The people that are around you, you select. And a lot of times, unfortunately, and Wilbon alluded to this also, when we start to get fame, when we start to get money, then we try to feel like we keeping it real. Like we trying to be down now. We trying to be tough now. We trying to be hard now. And I'm glad this actually happened at this point of his life. He's a 23-year-old young man. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got injured. The next step to that is now recovery. And I believe that he's on that path. I'm happy that he's on that path. He's going to return, and he's going to be a better person. And because of all of this taking place, he's now going to be able to live his full potential.
Jon Amaechi, you winced toward the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the man I'd like to see mentoring Ja, right? That's fair. A lot of what he says it makes tremendous sense. This similar background piece. But how much celebrity before there is a caveat, an asterisk about your behavior? How much celebrity before you can do things that for other black men in this country, I mean, how many regular 23-year-old black men could brandish a gun in a nightclub in this country right now and in a strip bar and not expect to be dead? This is privilege of a different sort. And I do get the idea that you get intoxicated by fame. I had very little of it, and even I got drunk. But at the same time, I hate the idea that we infantilize athletes, that we pretend that, if you're 23 and an athlete, you're actually 14 and you couldn't know any better. And I think you could know better even at 23. I think you could know better at 14. I was thinking back at how many of us as black folk had that talk. How many of us had it repeated with parents or grandparents who told us the dangers of just being thoughtless, how that can kill us. When I went to Toledo, I remember the conversation I had with one of my black teammates who was just like, you're not in Britain anymore. Not like Britain is a panacea, but our police don't generally have guns. And he taught me how to react at a traffic stop that will happen. This is somebody who has not grasped the gravity of their position, but could have done. Because I hate the idea that where we go to is essentially this man must be too stupid to know any better, and I don't believe that. I think Jalen, as is often the case with him, is thoughtful and compassionate, and I hope that he gets to be a mentor to that man. But we've got to start giving people the gravity of their position and having them own it. We've got to start to do that. Otherwise, people will be able to excuse behavior forever. We've seen this of athletes who are considerably older, by the way, in both the NFL and the NBA and other leagues, where athletes who are definitely too old but should know better somehow are still young because they're in a bubble then. That's the bubble. Or it's something else. There's always something else. I think accountability is sexy. We should own some of it.
Can we play some sound as well as we talk more about waving a gun around in public? Because I don't actually know what's going to happen here with Ja, where he'll get weaponized as someone who wants to go after the NBA, its progressiveness, its wokeness, and wants to create a caricature out of a guy who we were asking at the All-Star Games, Stugotz, how much for the diamonds in your mouth? We were having this exchange with him. How much? $30,000 for the diamonds in your mouth? And now he's waving a gun on Instagram Live, and now he's being pulled out of the league. This person can be weaponized as look at what the league is when you're waving around a gun. What is this person thinking? Do you have for me anything that would resemble, as I've seen Bomani turned into a scold on CNN saying cruising for a bruising. I've seen Jamel Hill say this can have catastrophic results. I'm seeing a 23-year-old behave like a kid who wants to posture and is a face of the league. What's happening here?
I don't have an answer in terms of what's happening here. I think this can end up being one of those things where we talk about, is it about black culture or urban culture or something else? I think Jalen's right. There is a part of this that is about the intoxication of wealth and how it's supposed to be manifest, how you're supposed to deliver that to the world. But there's also part of this, it's just about being juvenile. You decided to do something that most reasonable people, even at the age of 23, would know would have some serious cost. And the cost is negligible, right? 2 games? It's negligible. I don't think there's anything to weaponize against the NBA. I think it's an unbelievably reasonable thing to be suspended. I don't know how many workplaces you could go in, even those related to sports. Actually, really, I can't think of his name now. He was a super skinny guy. He played for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Darius Miles,
Lamar Odom,
Keon Dooling.
It'll
Lamar
come.
Odom.
It wasn't even. He was
Lamar
a center.
Odom?
Skinny Clippers. Lamar Odom.
No.
Lamar Odom?
Lamar Odom?
Stop saying Lamar Odom. I don't know why.
You said Skinny Clippers.
Darius
Lamar
Miles.
Odom.
Darius Miles?
Said, who are you thinking
Anyway,
of?
this bloke.
Broad shoulders would be Darius
He got
Miles.
suspended for a month by his team. The league didn't even have to get involved because he brought a gun into the locker room. Not brandishing. He just happened to have it on him. Which I just don't understand. What's this fascination? I shot a gun once. I told you this 1,000 times. I shot a gun once in my life, and I was like, never again. I shot cans. I've never felt more powerful, and it felt like the most dangerous thing in the world for me to feel that powerful. As a person who's already privileged, already got power and money, it's like the last thing I need.
It brought you fear to be so powerful that you could blow somebody's face off like
this
a can.
thing. Well, yes. I hold tremendous animus. In that way, I'm quite juvenile.
You're not talking about Gilbert Arenas,
Keith
right?
Kloss.
No. Keith Kloss.
Lamar Odom?
That was it. It was Keith Kloss. It was Keith Kloss. And I think, anyway. But anyway,
You think?
one of them did.
It was
DeAndre
Keith Kloss.
Jordan?
It could have been anybody. I don't know. But my point was that I just don't. It's not that I think I want him to be made an example of. I want him to get support, is what I want. But I also don't want us to do this thing where we infantilize an entire group of grown men who have lawyers and agents and other people around them who have significant contracts with large. Isn't he like the #1 person at Nike now in terms of endorsement deal? These are big grown-up things. And I am very wary when people go from having big grown-up responsibilities and then all of a sudden, when it suits, we put them in a box where they have no responsibilities or accountabilities. I think he knows that he screwed up. I think his agent could have written a better note than there was written. But if he gets somebody like Jalen Rose in his life, then there's every chance that this is the last we ever hear of it. It's a lesson learned. And that would be great. But let's just not pretend that all athletes are so stupid that we have to give them no accountability.